You don't understand Cam Ward. Cam Ward elevated 3 different collegiate programs without his daddy looking over his shoulders.
This guy's been productive at 3. Incarnate Word, Washington State, and Miami. And so when you look at the consistency of game tape and how much he's just gotten better every year.
He's been able to, go and beat him at 3 different stops, of course, and make teams better, getting the opportunity to go to UIW and turning that program around, especially, what he did that first year in the COVID year, and then going to Wazoo and breaking all those records and putting all those them numbers, and then going back to the U and bringing them back to relevance.
He's the best QB Miami has ever had.
When I say he's the best University of Miami quarterback ever, Stugotz, Ken Dorsey and Gino Torretta, people who won Heisman's, they won it because the other players around them were the first rounders. They had so many first rounders. Testaverde is the only one where you were like, holy shit, that guy can play no matter who's with him, and he still had amazing talent with him. Cam Ward is the best quarterback this program has ever had.
By far, he was the most sought-after quarterback in the transfer portal last year.
Then once I got to talking with Florida State, Miami, I told them straight up, I'm going to declare it, but I'm looking to come back to school. I'm not signing with no agent. I'm not doing nothing. And at that point, Miami just stayed on me.
The tape is solid. He has good arm strength, can spray the ball all over the field, and loves the playoff script.
The guy's very poised. He's got really good athletic ability. I think he's very detailed about what he's doing.
He also has a super high football IQ.
Number one, he's helped us evolve. You're not limited. You could do a lot of things with him. He's got a tremendous capacity, super high football IQ, and his ability to improvise is sometimes better than the design play.
He also doesn't force the football.
Doesn't get fooled post snap. Ball jumps off of his hands. It looks like he's throwing off a trampoline. He does not hesitate. He's got a quick trigger. He does not force the football.
However, his pocket awareness could be a big issue in the NFL.
For me, I think the biggest issue with Cam Ward's game that may be hard to translate to the NFL is how much he moves around in the pocket. There's a level of confidence which is positive. There's a level of, okay, you cannot make these plays against NFL pros. These are amazing Heisman-type plays. But in the NFL, it doesn't always work. We saw Caleb Williams make plays like these in college, then got to the NFL and got sacked 68 times. And so one area of improvement for Cam Ward is just to understand that you're not going against Georgia Tech. You're not going against Syracuse. You're going against Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt.
He's still the top quarterback in this year's class.
I don't think it's a hard decision. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. Now, is he Joe Burrow? I don't think he's Joe Burrow, but could he be like Baker Mayfield? I think he could be like Baker.
The Titans have had meetings with him, and they're in love with him.
One of the meetings that really stood out to them was Miami quarterback Cam Ward. I'm told he had an excellent meeting with them. They were impressed with his mental makeup, along with what they already liked from his physical acumen, and he will be one of the top options for them if they do keep that top pick.
Ironically, he has some similarities to Steve McNair.
How well he throws the ball from the pocket. I mean, there are so many examples where that ball, he hits his back foot on the ground, and that thing jumps out of his hand, and it's an absolute rip. And the ball downfield, I mean, he throws the seam ball as good as anybody. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Jaden threw the crosser really well, but throwing the ball in between the hash, he absolutely steps on the football and rips it. And so it's clear to me that he's the number one pick. It reminds me a little bit, ironically, of Steve McNair coming out of school and just his style.
Where does he rank in last year's historic rookie quarterback class?
I have him ahead of J.J. McCarthy. If he was in this draft class, I think he would be in contention to be the first quarterback picked after those guys that we saw go at the top of the draft, and Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. I think Cam Ward would definitely be in that tier along with J.J. McCarthy as being that fourth quarterback off of the board.
She asked some different GMs, okay, how would Shedeur and Cam Ward rank if they were in the last quarterback class, which is looking to be, fairly historic, with the number of guys that are playing at a high level as rookies. A couple of them even in the playoffs. And most of the GM said basically that they were, they would go after Cam Ward and Shedeur would go after Bo Nix. Maybe, Penix was kind of a surprise pick, but kind of in that tier. And that's basically what I've heard.
This year, he's easily going to be the first player selected in the 2025 NFL draft.
We've known for a couple of months that Ward is cemented as the number one overall pick. But I think what's becoming clearer over the last couple of weeks is the Tennessee Titans are probably going to stick with that.
One thing people can't get over is him leaving early during the Pop-Tart Bowl.
I have no issue with Cam Ward sitting out a bowl game. Sit out. I got no issue with Cam Ward wanting to play till halftime just to run out with his teammates one more time and then stopping. I have a complete issue with his intention and his motivation for doing so.
But in the locker room, he's a true alpha.
He took over the offense from day one. From day one of January, whatever it was last year when he walked in. It was his team. It's just an alpha. He's an alpha. He's that kind of guy. And, you know, the first possible moment that he had the wide receivers out there and the skill guys out there, and he was throwing routes to them. And so he won him over with his work ethic. He won him over with his preparation. He won him over with his leadership, you know? So that was from day one.
He has a very stoic mindset.
I never really thought about it, honestly. And I'm just blessed to be in a position for all 32 teams to be here. You know, not only for myself, but for my teammates. I've been blessed. And so, you know, it hasn't sunk in yet, but I'm excited for the future. Whether it's the Titans, the Browns, Giants, Raiders, whether, you know, what other team that needs a quarterback, I think I'll be a part of, you know, everybody's solution. The pick will never mean anything. Whether the draft was 20 years ago to this draft, the pick will never mean nothing. The only difference between the first round and the 7th round pick is a signing bonus. At the end of the day, you got to go prove that every time you step on the field. And, you know, you always got to remember, you know, that there's somebody always want to, you know, get behind you and try to catch up. So, you know, I'm willing to, you know, put that work in to, you know, put myself, my family, my teammates in, you know, good situation.
That he plays the position unconsciously as far as the results go. Have you ever heard a great golfer talk about like Jack Nicklaus has said, like, I never missed a putt. I never in my mind, you know, I would commit to it and I would hit the putt. If it went in or not, like, that was beyond what was in my control. My control was like, put it on the line that I'm intending and hit a good putt. And I never hit a bad putt. I always hit a good putt. That's what he would say. And it's this idea of like removing yourself from the result. So immersing yourself in the process. And that's kind of how I see Cam Ward as he plays.
It looked like you turned to the Titans brass, Chad Brinker and Mike Gorzanzi, and said something to him.
Yeah,
what did you say to him?
I said, I'm solidifying it today. And
you solidified
what
it today.
Locking it up.
They heard you. They laughed.
I made sure they heard me.
Ward is always upfront and honest.
The city of New York, you know, I won't be in the city probably ever. I'll stay in New Jersey for all day, every day. It's too much out here.
He's willing to take a pay cut to help his NFL team build around him and to win a Super Bowl.
Second contract, we winning as a team, I'd take a pay cut, but I'm going to get mine still.
Remember, he had 0 stars coming out of high school, and he had to build his resume from there to get to this point.
I've never seen a player have 0 stars in high school be the #1 pick overall. I've never seen that.
Them stars don't mean shit.
Not a damn thing.
I think Ward is being underrated in this year's class. There is a feel that since we only have 1 year at Miami, that the media spent the entire draft season trying to figure out who he is. Ward is not a flashy person who's going to give you all his personality up front. He's a straightforward, to the point, and honest type of person. As a player, though, he has the skill to be a superstar at the NFL level. He's a smart quarterback who can place the ball all over the field. He has proven to be a good quarterback for 3 different programs, which is rare. Ward is easily an upgrade over Will Levis, and even though he's going to be the first player selected in this year's draft, he's still vastly underrated. Let me know what you think about Cam Ward in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.